Let's dive into one of the most incredible, everyday miracles happening inside your body right now. How a simple thought, the decision to move, translates into real physical action.
I mean, have you ever really stopped and thought about it? You decide you want to pick up your coffee mug, and boom, your arm just does it. What in the world is happening in that split second between the thought and the action?
Well, what's actually going on is this breathtakingly fast, microscopic relay race. And today, we're going to follow that baton, this tiny electrochemical signal, as it gets passed from your nervous system all the way down to the tiny little engines waiting inside your muscle fibers.
So our race kicks off with the very first handoff. This is the crucial moment where the signal from a nerve cell has to make the jump over to the muscle cell. Okay, so think of this like a super precise, high-tech docking station. The nerve ending gets incredibly close to the muscle fiber, but, and this is key, it doesn't actually touch it. Instead, it releases a chemical messenger, acetylcholine, or ACH for short. This little messenger zips across a tiny gap, finds its specific receptor on the muscle, and unlocks it. And that opens the floodgates for sodium ions to just pour into the muscle cell. Now that massive rush of positively charged sodium ions creates a brand new electrical spark, a new action potential right there on the muscle fiber's surface. And that surface, called the sarcolemma, it's basically the perfect racetrack, letting this new signal just fly across the entire muscle cell in an instant.
But here's the cool part. The signal doesn't just stay on the surface. It needs to get its message to the machinery deep inside. So it dives down into the muscle through this amazing network of tiny tunnels called T-tubules.
And that brings us to the next leg of our relay race. Because you see, the electrical signal itself doesn't actually cause the contraction. Nope. Its main job is to unlock a vault and release the true master key of muscle movement, calcium.
Tucked away deep inside the muscle fiber is this intricate web called the sarcoplasmic reticulum, or just the SR. You can think of it as a secure storage facility just packed to the brim with calcium ions, all locked away just waiting for the signal to arrive.
And here it is. This is the trigger. As that electrical wave zips down the T-tubules, it passes right by the SR and basically tells it to open its gates. And in a flash, the SR floods the entire cell with all those critical calcium ions.
So what does all this calcium actually do? Well, it acts like the final key in a puzzle. It grabs onto a protein called troponin. When that happens, it causes another long, rope-like protein called tropomyosin to physically shift its position. You can think of that tropomyosin rope as a safety guard that's blocking all the important connection points. The calcium is what pulls that guard rope out of the way.
And you can really see the difference it makes here. Before calcium shows up, the whole system is locked down. Those binding sites are covered, nothing can happen. But after calcium floods in and pulls that tropomyosin guard away, boom, the sites are exposed. The system is unlocked and fully armed, ready for action.
All right, with the stage set and the machinery unlocked, we can finally get to the main event. This is the engine of muscle contraction. This is where the actual force is generated.
This whole process is called the cross-bridge cycle, and it's powered by these tiny molecular motors called myosin heads. They use energy from ATP, the body's fuel source, to go through this relentless four-step process. They bind, they pull, they release, and then they reset, over and over again. Let's break it down beat by beat.
First up, bind. The myosin head, which is already energized and kind of cocked back like a spring, latches onto one of those freshly exposed sites on the actin filament. That connection is what we call a cross bridge.
Next, the pull. This is the power stroke. The myosin head pivots with incredible force, yanking the entire actin filament inward toward the center. This is it. This is the fundamental action that shortens the muscle and generates movement.
Then we need to release. See, to get ready for another pull, the myosin head has to let go. And the only way it does that is when a brand new molecule of ATP, our body's energy currency, comes along and binds to it, causing it to detach.
And finally, reset. That new ATP molecule is immediately split, and the energy that's released is used to recock the myosin head, putting it right back into its high-energy, ready-to-go position. It's now primed to bind and pull all over again. And get this entire cycle happens thousands of times a second across millions of these tiny motors in a single muscle. It's unbelievable.
Okay, so starting the contraction is one thing, but a muscle can't just stay flexed forever. Stopping the contraction, relaxing, is just as active and just as critical as starting it. It's time to hit the brakes.
Now, this whole relaxation process isn't passive at all. It takes work. As soon as your nerve stops firing, that ACH messenger is immediately broken down by an enzyme. Then, the cell uses energy, more ATP, to actively pump all of that calcium back into the SR for storage. Once the calcium is gone, that tropomyosin guard just slides right back into place, covering the binding sites, the myosin motors can't connect, and the muscle finally relaxes. This little table gives us a perfect side-by-side summary. It's like a cheat sheet. For a contraction, you've got the messenger present, calcium levels are high, and those all-important binding sites are exposed. For relaxation, everything just reverses. The messenger's gone, calcium is locked away, and the binding sites are covered right back up. Simple as that.
So there you have it. When you really think about it, it's just incredible. It all starts with a fleeting electrical signal in your brain, which kicks off this perfectly synchronized, beautiful molecular dance of proteins and ions, all resulting in a powerful, controlled movement. It's an absolutely elegant system.
But of course, all those tiny myosin motors, they need a constant, massive supply of ATP fuel to keep that cycle going. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. What happens when that fuel starts to run low during a workout? What is muscle fatigue, really? Well, we'll leave it at you on that one. Thanks for joining us.